All right, how are you guys doing? That is actually very energetic for a developer crowd. So, look, I'm really happy that you could be here with us for the last 2 days, and especially through this session. It turns out that this is the last official session of the conference. There's more, networking and other things afterwards. And when we were talking about who should we invite for a fireside chat, I couldn't think of a better person than my friend Clem as CEO of Hugging Face, because one of the things, and I'm going to let Clem tell you a little bit about Hugging Face and their journey, but one of the things that we share sort of at the foundation is really the importance of developers and openness. And I can say, Clem, you were here at Advancing AI. We were just talking, I don't know, must have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's slightly more people here today. What do you think?
Yeah. We started the Hugging Face actually 10 years ago. We weren't even calling it AI at the time. And now, obviously, it's like the hottest topic that everyone is talking about.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. So look, Clem and I are just going to have a dialogue, and if there's anything that we don't cover that you'd like us to cover, please raise your hand at some point. So Clem, maybe just to start, again, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for the partnership. We're super excited about what we're doing together, but just tell us a little bit about Hugging Face, what you're seeing, what are the trends that you're seeing amongst developers and AI as you've been watching this journey.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see on Hugging Face kind of like the power and the development of open models, open data sets, of collaboration in AI. Historically, we've been seeing a lot of text models, right? Reasoning models. Now we're seeing so much activity in videos, in image, in biology, chemistry, in robotics. It's very exciting. I think it shows that really AI is starting to transform all domains of our worlds, and we're just at the beginning of it.
Yeah, and I think we were saying, what is it, 3 million models or more that that we have on Hugging Face?
Yeah, it's 3 million public models. It's 1 million public data set on the platform, and almost as many private ones. It's one new repository on Hugging Face every 7 seconds now, so the activity is quite crazy.
Just out of curiosity in the room, how many of you are active on Hugging Face?
Nice.
I think you have some fans here in the audience. And we've talked a lot today, Clem, about agentic AI. That's been a lot of the theme for this conference. When you think about sort of agentic AI and how it's going to proceed over the next few years, talk about openness and why is openness important in this world?
Well, I mean, I think we're starting to see, obviously it's been in the news for the past few days, that for autonomy to work, you have to have transparency, control, and understanding, right? I think we're seeing all that autonomy without this is risky, is dangerous, is creating problems. So I think even more than for LLMs and for chatbots, for agents, you need open models. You need ways for companies to own their agents themselves, to understand how they work, how they're performing. You can't really kind of like outsource your agents to a black box. So all of that, I think, shows the importance of openness for agents.
And when you think about the progress over agentic AI over the last, I say 6 months, because I think over the last 6 months, there's been just tremendous acceleration. Like, what are the most interesting applications to you? What have you seen in the Hugging Face community?
Well, I'm super excited about robotics these days, right? Because it gives you both kind of like a new perception of the world, right? You get into kind of like the physical world, and so I think you can really improve kind of like the reasoning capabilities of system by having kind of like real world data sets, and also the potential of what they can do is much greater and it unlocks new things. I was telling you I just got two baby girls, right? And the idea of having AI interact with my girls through kind of like robots is quite exciting, and obviously much more exciting than them doing that by looking at the screen.
So Clem, I think you told me your girls are 6 months. 6 months, is that right?
Yeah.
Have they been interacting with robots?
Yes, yes. They've been. So we have this little robot called Richie Mini.
Richie Mini.
Yeah, Richie Mini.
Okay.
We started it almost as an experiment, and really people liked it. We shipped over 10,000 of them all over the world now, and they've been kind of like a little bit visually interacting with Richie Mini.
That's
which
pretty
has been
cool.
fun to see.
That's very, very cool. Now, Clem, we talked, I don't know, I want to say, was it 9 months ago or something, when we were talking about how can we get AI more accessible to the community. And the truth is, look, we're selling lots and lots of GPUs to the big cloud guys, the frontier model guys, but we need access to AI in many, many more form factors. And can you just talk a little bit about your thoughts on that? And Jack announced this morning the new platform that we're doing together with Ryzen AI Max and Hugging Face. But talk a little bit about what you see in sort of this evolution of where you're going to experience AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI in terms of compute really started in the data center, but more and more, I think there's huge drive and excitement from the community for more local options, right? If you're kind of like an AI builder, I think you get excited, like I get excited about building your own hardware, having your own kind of like local dev station, and that's some of the things that at AMD you're doing really interesting things, like for example with the Halo box, and I think that's kind of like a big direction of the AI field, where obviously you'll always have on the cloud workloads, but more and more also you'll have your local hardware that you're going to be able to run some workloads yourself. You're going to be able to understand and learn yourself which model fits in which hardware, how can you work on them to quantify them, optimize them to run better, give you more tokens per dollars. So I'm super excited about that. I think we're gonna see really kind of like a resurgence of more local options for AI, and obviously you're at the forefront of that. I'd love, by the way, for you to tell us a little bit about why you've been really one of the pioneers in kind of like taking open approaches to this topic. Could you tell us a little bit more, like why and what do you see in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Clem, when we're thinking about open, and let's take a step back. Before all of this has started in terms of the incredible adoption around AI, you realize that ecosystems really matter, right? I'm a firm believer in there's no one company that has all of the good ideas. There's no one group. There's no one chip. There's no one model that's the best. In fact, what you find is that there's such a diverse set of use cases. There's such a diverse, whether you're in a business or you're trying to solve scientific problems or, different industries, different verticals. There's such a diverse set of workloads that you really want to have the right, computing for each workload, and you want to be able to, really be able to mix and match across that. And the thing about an open ecosystem is all of us want to move fast. None of us really want to be tied to a certain underlying architecture, because you might wake up tomorrow and find out that there's something else that's better. And so to create an open ecosystem really allows us to kind of, work across the entire sort of end-to-end, types of compute, and then two, be able to, really have sort of transparency in the way you think about this. So the idea that you will be able to have, I think 1 + 1 is greater than 3 when developers come together and innovate on a same platform, and you learn a lot, along the way. So openness is certainly a key part of our strategy. And then, the other piece that you mentioned, which is a very, very important part of our strategy, is the idea that you want to consume compute everywhere. And so this idea of local AI, like I have my own personal use case, right? My own personal use case is I spend a ton of time on planes all the time.
Yeah.
And half the time the Wi-Fi doesn't work and I don't have access to AI. That's a real pain in the, pain in the. And so the fact is, the local AI hardware is getting pretty good. I mean, you can get tremendous acceleration capability on whether it's AI PCs or this Ryzen AI Max box, and then if we can marry it with the Hugging Face platform, I think it is a way to make the sort of the barrier of entry into leading edge AI hardware as easy as can be. So that's kind of really our view. Now, Clem, so let's look at the future. Like, where do you think this ecosystem is headed? Where do you see, okay, now it's 3 million models. Are we going to 10 million? Are we going to, how do you think about, sort of this whole ecosystem developing?
I think so. I mean, I think ultimately model weights are almost like code repositories, right? And the same way you have hundreds of millions of code repositories, I think in the next few years we could see hundreds of millions of different models, almost kind of like as many different models as use cases or companies or even people, right? Like if you think of it, customizing, specializing, optimizing your model for your own constraints, for your own use case, for your own specificities will always be more efficient than using a generic model for everything. So I think we're going towards that world. I think also we're seeing an explosion of the numbers of AI builders. I think the barrier to entry to become an AI builder was always pretty high, but now with agents, I think every software engineer is capable of becoming an AI builder themselves, right? Is capable of optimizing their models, running their models, experimenting, training. That is obviously a pretty cool thing. On Hugging Face, we started really to see a huge growth of the volume of agentic usage, meaning AI builders using agents using Hugging Face. Probably even a bit too much agentic usage, right? To the point that apparently they started hacking us too. But I think that's really
very timely. It's very timely.
But that's really kind of like the future, enabling any software engineer to become AI builders themselves, not just AI users. For everyone to really build themselves.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And since we have lots and lots of developers here, again, I hope you guys had a lot of opportunity to learn about AMD, learn about opportunities in the ecosystem and coming together. When you think about, Clem, what we can do to even do more to help developers be more productive, like, give me some advice. What should AMD be doing? How can we do even more to accelerate the developer ecosystem?
Well, I think you're already doing a lot and a lot of the right things. I think events like that and communities are very important in AI right now, right? Because that's how information shares, learning shares. That's how we help each other to learn. So I think there's a huge, and that's one of the reasons why you're all here. I think there's a huge appetite and excitement for more community, That is something that we can develop in the next few years, because unfortunately sometimes in AI it's a bit siloed, right? And
Yes.
it's getting sometimes even more siloed because people think they need to compete with each other and that they need to compete with secrecy, right? And not share with the others what they do. I think we need the exact opposite: more open science, more collaboration, more communities, for everyone to kind of like progress and build together.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's I think the motto is we are better together, and getting the ecosystem to come together and learn from each other. And we're still all very differentiated in what we're trying to get done, but bringing all things together. So I have one last question for you, and this is really maybe a broader one for all of us in this room. We're at a time where I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to be sitting here and working in the most exciting times of technology, being on the cutting edge of AI, working with extraordinarily smart people all the time. But we're also in a place where a lot of people don't understand AI. And there's even some fear of AI out there. Any thoughts of what we can all do as a community? Because everyone sitting here is a believer. We don't have to convince each other. But what can we do as a community to really let the broader world understand how powerful and wonderful this technology is?
So something that we've learned is that what I was mentioning before, which is turning people from AI users to AI builders, really changes their perception, right? Because I think it changes their feelings from being kind of like passively impacted by technology that's happening and being built without them, versus kind of like realizing that AI is a tool that they can use to reach their goals, achieve their dreams, and build the things that they want to see in the world, right? So if you're an AI builder and you have kind of like family members, friends who are maybe scared about AI or pessimistic about AI, or purely kind of like negative about AI, maybe spend 2 hours with them, like building a little robot like the Richie Mini, or showing them how to build an app with AI, tinkering with some hardware, and really kind of like helping them understand that this is a tool that they can also themselves become AI builders. Usually it really changes perspectives on people.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Clem. I think we are at a pretty special time. It's a special time in sort of the technology arc, and I'm old compared to all of you, so we can say that I've been through a long set of technology arcs, but this arc is quite different than others. And the difference is you can either choose to be a part of it, or you can choose to be afraid of it. And choosing to be a part of it means that you're actually empowered with the most capable technology that you can imagine. And I think with sort of repositories like Hugging Face, with the type of work that we're doing in the open ecosystem, with the amount of hardware and technology that you have at your fingertips, AI builders can really do extraordinary things. And you can do it. What's so surprising to me is it used to be people would say, hey, you have to go to the largest frontier lab because that's the only way you're going to get access to the GPUs that you need, right? Everyone, it turns out when you're hiring people these days, it's not just salary, it's how many GPUs do you get. With that, the world's different. Actually, you don't need tens of thousands of people, or even thousands of people, or even hundreds of people. Like, 5 guys can have a really, really good idea, and take the power of an open model, get access to hardware that is very easily accessible, and build amazing solutions. And I think that's why it's such an interesting time. And I completely agree with you. If we can get more people becoming sort of not just talking about AI, but really building on AI, we're going to be able to really accelerate the pace of innovation. So, Clem, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your partnership. I think it's wonderful what Hugging Face is doing. We're very proud to be, a partner of yours, and really an opportunity to move the open ecosystem together forward, and look forward to doing much more together.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Clem. All right, so that brings us to the end. And let me say again, huge thank you to all of you for being here. It's been a fantastic couple of days for us. We've had customers, we've had partners, we've had developers, we've had a ton of people just making new connections with each other. And that's the purpose for us to hold events like today. It's been an extraordinary time for us. We're super happy about the incredible product portfolio that we have put out, but we are also extremely excited about the incredible ecosystem that we're building around AMD. So my ask of you is very simple, is continue to engage with us, build, optimize, contribute, collaborate. This ecosystem is about what we can do not just as individuals, but really what we can do when we bring the entire ecosystem together. So in case you haven't figured it out, I'm an AI optimist. I think everyone in this room is. I mean, we are, is that right? We have a lot to do to show what the real power of the technology is, but the future of AI will really be built by the people in this room. It's what you're able to do with the technology that will unlock the full potential and, in my words, make the world a substantially better place. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for being part of our ecosystem.